Dating back to the original Street Fighter in 1987, being able to do special moves has been a point of pride for fighting game fans. In the original Street Fighter, some of the inputs are really finicky to do and have really tight timing, which makes it even more rewarding when you end up doing 80% of someone's life with a single Shoryuken. The tricky timing is one of the things that makes it hard to go back and play the original Street Fighter now. As you can see here, I keep trying to do special moves until I end up losing the round, despite hitting a massive blow at the start. This is one of the things that Capcom ended up changing for the subsequent Street Fighter 2, making the timing much more lenient for special moves, which made the game a lot more fun to play, but also inadvertently started the combo system that's prevalent in so many fighting games today. Even though it started as a bug in Street Fighter 2, the system of canceling normal moves into special moves, and even special canceling in later games, is what makes combos like this Kage one possible, and serves as the basis for combos throughout many fighting games, even outside of the Street Fighter series. The reason I bring all this up is because recently I was playing Granblue Versus and had a lot of trouble accidentally getting super after doing a crouching heavy attack. Eventually I figured out that I was having this problem because of the way the game handles input shortcuts. These input shortcuts, which are normally there to help players get special moves even if their inputs aren't perfect, were actually making it more difficult for me to get the intended move. The Hadoken motion, or a quarter circle forward, will be familiar to many fighting game fans. What Granblue has, as well as many other games, is that if you do forward, then quarter circle forward, you'll actually get a Shoryuken. These problems really stem from the fact that the game lets you get away with a lot of lenient inputs on the super motions in this game. They say they require double quarter circle forward, but really any combination of inputs that gives down forward is close enough for the game to accept it. Starting in Street Fighter 4 and carrying on to Street Fighter 5, the Shoryuken input actually has a lot of leniency as far as how you can input it. Obviously, inputting the command correctly will lead to the desired results. Just like in Granblue, you can also do forward, quarter circle forward, even though you have to be a little quicker with your input, but it still works over here in Street Fighter. As you can see right here, you can actually cut it even closer and not even actually hit the diagonal and still have the move come out. This is where the inputs start getting weird. You can hold down and tap over to down forward twice, which still gives you an uppercut, but from a crouching position. You can also do the opposite. If you hold forward and tap down twice, you're still able to get an uppercut, this time from a forward walk. This seems like a holdover from Street Fighter 4, where down forward would give you a Shoryuken. Interestingly enough, moving back over to Granblue Versus, none of those particular shortcuts work in this game like they do in Street Fighter, meaning that doing a walk forward or a crouching Shoryuken are either impossible or more difficult in this game compared to Street Fighter 5. Jumping over to Samurai Shodown, one of my personal favorite games, the forward quarter circle forward input is actually one of the best ways to get Haomaru's running uppercut move. So we've talked about input shortcuts, and the reason that these things work is because of the input window. When we talked about Street Fighter 2, I said that they expanded the window to make special moves easier to do. This is carried over to today, where you can actually input commands for special moves while still working in other movements. Characters like Sagat in Street Fighter and Ukyo in Samurai Shodown make use of what people call a tiger knee motion, where you go from down back to up forward, letting you do an aerial special move as soon as you leave the ground. This same input window is the reason that you can do backdash into Tsubame Gaishi with Ukyo in Samurai Shodown. How long the window is and how much you can do with it varies depending on the game. In Samurai Shodown, this means that you can buffer in the input for your super special move while backdashing, letting you punish a heavy slash with one of the most damaging counters in the game. In Street Fighter 5, this input window lets you use the inputs for a special move as part of the inputs for a critical art, letting you cancel Hadouken into critical art with a character like Kage or Ryu. It's not as easy in Granblue to use inputs for multiple different moves, but you can still use input shortcuts to do things like Ladiva's Super Skybound without ever actually going to the up-back position. One of the things with playing a charge character like Charlotta or Guile is figuring out how to work your charge time into your combos. In Granblue, you can start your auto combo and then start charging your down into up, or back into forward attacks with Charlotta and have them ready to go by the time you're getting your last hit of your auto combo out. This goes one step farther with a character like Shizumaru in Samurai Shodown, where you actually have to learn how to play holding down one button at all times. Looking at how different fighting games handle inputs is kind of like looking at a history of fighting games in general. We still see the inputs and the different special moves that have carried over from the original Street Fighter in 1987, when they thought it would be a good idea to have a sensitivity pad to determine what level of attack you were doing. Thank God that didn't stick around. By continuing to improve on the idea of special moves as designed in Street Fighter 1, a bug made it possible for combos to be performed in Street Fighter 2. You can follow that line of thinking out to today, where combos are not only possible, but encouraged in fighting games that don't even come from Capcom. One of the best things about playing fighting games is picking up a new one and learning what you can and can't do and what systems they have incorporated and what new systems you have to learn. I hope that by touching on some of the differences between how these games handle your inputs, you're able to see sort of the variety that games have these days and what they do and don't allow you to do and what you can make out of that. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.